Of course, you know how to watch fly tying tutorials. But did you know that there's more than one way to watch a fly tying tutorial? And did you know that lots of different people have lots of different expectations from a fly tying tutorial? Hi, I'm Steve with the Troutwise channel. Before making fly tying tutorials for the Troutwise channel, I spoke to a lot of fly anglers, fly tyers, and other folks who made fly tying tutorials. And what I discovered is you just can't make everybody happy. Everybody seems to have a different expectation of what a fly tying tutorial should be and what they can get from it. Some people want a super detailed fly tying tutorial that they can tie right along with. Some people hate fly tying tutorials that are over 5 minutes long. And if you're one of those folks, stick around. I got some news for you. Some people just want a materials list before they head off to the vise and maybe start to put their own spin on the fly. And some people can't stand a fly tying tutorial that is filmed from opposite the tyer, with somebody's face, beard, or shirt moving in the background. Maybe they find it a little distracting. And some people are completely indifferent about the perspective of the fly tying video. Now, there's a few things that we need to consider about fly tying videos before we really get into this. Number one is that not many of us actually tie our own flies. 15 to 20% of fly anglers actually tie their own flies. That's not very many. So we need to try and bring more people into this portion of the fly fishing game, this fly tying portion of it. But it's intimidating. People are scared to try it. People are afraid they'll tie terrible flies. Maybe they've tried it before, they weren't very successful. So we want to try and make videos that accommodate these folks, bring them into this portion of the fly fishing game. The more people we can get fly tying, the better for us. And anyone who's ever tied their own flies can tell you there are few things more satisfying than catching a trout on a fly rod on a fly that you have tied yourself. I think one of the only things that's more satisfying is when somebody says, "Can I have one of your flies?" And then you watch them catch a trout on a fly rod, on a fly that you've tied. Really not too many things in life more satisfying than that. So I've done a few things in the Troutwise fly tying tutorials to try and accommodate most people. First, I film from the fly tyer's perspective, which if you've never tried is so much harder than it sounds. You don't have a lot of room to work with the camera and just the vise and everything just being so close. It's a lot tougher than it sounds. But anyway, what you see in the video is what you see in the vise. When you're sitting at your fly tying desk, whatever that may be, tying the fly, what you see in the video and what you see in the vise are the same thing. And I film with as much magnification as I possibly can. Now, different size flies will require different distances for the camera and whatnot, but I film with as much magnification as I can to capture as much detail as I can. Because for somebody who hasn't been fly tying for very long, or maybe isn't very good at fly tying, the difference between having that detail and not having that detail is the difference between tying a great fly and tying a very mediocre fly. Next, there are 2 videos for each fly tying tutorial, a short form and a long form. The short form is meant for the more advanced angler. 60 seconds, a materials list, how the fly is put together, not much detail there. The long form video is meant for the beginning tyer and the intermediate tyer. For the beginning tire, there's details about how the fly is put together, the effects that we're trying to achieve as we tie these materials together to make the fly, when, where, and how you might want to fish the fly. So lots of details there for the beginning tire. And it moves at a pace that the beginning tire can tie right along with. You might need to pause the video now and again, but hopefully you don't need to rewind it constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because we provide enough detail so you can tie right alongside the video. Now for the intermediate tire, and for any tires that think that, a fly tying tutorial that's more than 5 minutes long is just a wrong thing, well, I've put chapter markers in each of the fly tying tutorials. This way, if you're not interested in why we're tying this particular color, or what we're trying to imitate, or where and how and when you might want to fish this fly, you can skip all those portions and go right to the tying section of the video. And the other thing, and one of the most important things I think that I do during these fly tying videos, is I try and talk at a pace so that you can watch the tying portion of the video at up to 2 times normal speed without it sounding like Alvin the Chipmunk is trying to tell you how to tie the fly. So for those of you who think that the video should be no longer than 5 minutes, well, you can watch this section of the video, and it might be 5 or 6 minutes long, but if you watch it at 2 times normal speed, it might only be 2 or 3 times as long. So that's some of the things that we do to try and accommodate as many people as we can with these Trout-Wise fly tying tutorials. And let us know in the comments how you like to watch your fly tying tutorials. We're always happy to hear your suggestions and take them into consideration as we make more fly tying tutorials. Again, thanks for watching. Now on to the fly tying tutorial.